Goodbye to junior high.
26 tips to get you through middle school.
Welcome to teenhood. Pinksy Cat and
PittQuicks are here to help. Academics. Learning how to prepare for a test and take a test. I think we can all agree that this part of growing up is the most unwelcomed and hated.
I mean, who likes homework, right? Just kidding, I do. Anyways, we know homework and academics and the upcoming decisions on your future can be pretty difficult and very stressful.
Let's help you out here.
Studying what you need to know to pass every test.
That's right. This is the one thing you will have to do throughout your whole life, and it will only get harder. But no need to worry. We're here to give you some helpful tips that can help you pass every test.
Tip number 1, use a study guide. Using a study guide can be very helpful. Most teachers will give you one to give you an idea as to what information you need to know for the test. But what if your teacher doesn't give you a study guide? Then make your own. What's the best way to do that? Well, did you have a bell ringer, or what was the main idea of your lesson? Write down your bell ringers and or main ideas for each day. Get your answers checked by the teacher to make sure you're right. Put all of those together on a sheet of paper, and that's your study guide. Ta-da!
Tip number 2, plan ahead. Do you ever have a lot going on and forget to study until the day before the test? Well, you need to start planning to study ahead of time. When your teacher gives you the date of the test, figure out what you have going on at least 1 week before your test. Then find a time on each day that you have some free time to study. This way, you will have a time each day for at least 1 week to study. Make sure you have the accountability to follow your schedule, or else it will not work.
Tip number 3, don't study late. When you study, don't do it late at night. First off, you won't remember the material very well. Second, you'll be really tired the day of the test. If you're tired while you're taking the test, then you'll have a hard time concentrating. Now, remembering what you studied and not being able to concentrate is a very bad combination. Even if you are a super genius or have impeccable memory, you are not invincible nor excluded from these risks. No matter who you are, if you study late at night, chances are you will either get a very low grade or worse, fail. So don't do it.
Tip number 4, have a study partner. Having a study partner can be really helpful. Rather than asking the question to yourself in your head, having someone to read the question and answer it out loud can be very helpful, especially when it comes to remembering things. One important thing to remember about this is picking the right person to do it with. It's okay to do it with your best friend as long as you can stay on task. If you can't, then choose someone else who will not distract you. Also, learning and studying together can create really strong bonds. While studying, you can create fun ways to remember your material that becomes like inside jokes.
Tip number 5, ask for help. Having trouble understanding something in a particular subject? Ask for help. You should never be ashamed to ask your teacher or even a relative to help you better understand something. Make sure you ask the right person who knows what they're talking about and can explain it the best. This is usually your teacher. This is why it's best to go to them first. Still don't understand? Go to a parent or guardian and see if they know anything about it. If not, ask a friend who is doing well in the subject, or even look up help videos on YouTube, with parents' permission, of course. Don't be scared to ask for help. After all, it is helpful.
Test taking. Learn to stay calm and collected.
Have you ever had these thoughts before or while taking a test? Oh my gosh, I know this. It's on the tip of my tongue. It was that one word that started with a T, right? Oh gosh, I put that down for another question. I better go change that. Oh my gosh, Jenny just turned in her test? Oh no, Sally and Charlie too? Everyone is finished but me. Ugh. You've officially gone into complete panic mode. I think we all have at least once. Well, let's give you some tips about how to stay calm, focused, and collected.
Tip number 1, know your material. The first step to making sure you don't freak out on test day is to make sure you know your material. This is simply making sure you studied and know what you're talking about. If not, you will be very confused during the test and begin panicking. So study like you've been endowed with the powers of research. Trust me, it helps.
Tip number 2, be well rested. Make sure you get a good night's sleep. Your teachers probably tell you this, along with eating a good breakfast, especially when you have a bigger test coming up. It is very important too. If not, you could forget the material during the test or mix up your facts. It's also very easy to drift while you're taking the test and lose your focus.
Tip number 3, follow all instructions. When taking a test, make sure you follow the instructions carefully. The smallest misstep can cause points to be deducted, especially in mathematics. If you forget a step or do it wrong, it could even cause you to get the whole question wrong.
Tip number 4, read each question carefully. Make sure you read each question and its answers carefully before answering. You may read the question wrong and put the wrong answer. You may read the question correctly, but only read the first 2 answer choices, when there is a better one for answer choice number 4. When this happens, it can be very frustrating, especially if you need the correct answer.
5. Go over your work. If you didn't answer a question correctly, and you knew the correct answer, you can fix it before you turn it in. All you need to do is simply go over your work. Read through each question and its answers carefully, and see if it makes sense to you. If so, you probably have the correct answer. If not, you might need to think more about the question and try to remember what you learned. If need be, check it twice or even 3 times, whatever amount that makes you absolutely confident in your answers.
Clubs and sports. Balancing the weight between extracurriculars and classes.
When you get to junior high, there are many clubs and sports available to you that you might want to join. It can be pretty hard, though, finding the time for both your extracurriculars and your school. Luckily, we will give you a few tips.
Tip number 1, manage your time. When you start extracurriculars, it is important to manage your time well. This meaning, don't spend your free time goofing off and doing whatever, because free time is going to be very rare. Make sure you are doing something you really want to do with that time. If you just goof off in that time, then you might be using more time than needed, which takes time away to stay on top of your schoolwork.
Tip number 2, get and stay organized. It is important to get organized schedule-wise. This means know when and where things are going to happen every week. You may not always know these things because sometimes things happen by surprise, but try to know what you can. This can really help when it comes to finding time to study or get homework done.
Tip number 3, get your priorities in order. When starting an extracurricular, it is very important to know what comes before what. The answer is always your education. You can never let your sport or club affect your grades. If you do, chances are you will be kicked off the team or out of the club. If not, your parents will most likely take you out of your extracurricular too.
Tip number 4, don't get behind. It is very important to not get behind in your schoolwork. If you do, it can be very hard to catch back up. You will most likely have to use most of your free time just to stay caught up. This could cause you to be stressed and or affect your mood.
Tip number 5, take advantage of study halls and extra help. If you are having trouble finding a quiet time to study or are struggling grade-wise, take advantage of study halls and or extra help. This can definitely help your grades and maybe even give you some more free time.
Relationships, crushes, and friendships.
As a large part of a teenager's metamorphosis, relationships start changing and pushing their way into daily life. Let's give you some tips.
Crushes, or the butterflies.
I think we've all had that one person who just pierced our heart or made butterflies flutter in our stomach, whether it be a friend or a peer. I know I, for one, have.
Anyways, let's get into some tips about how to handle your case of unrequited love.
Tip number 1, be yourself. I know you've probably heard this a million times before, but it is seriously true. If your crush can't handle how you are, he, she, they isn't meant for you anyway. However, if they can, that leads to the next tip.
Tip number 2, be friends first. The friend zone is almost always the first step. It's agonizing and painful to be stuck there, but you'll be one step closer. Besides, you might wind up having a wonderful new friend. On to the next.
Tip number 3, talk about it. While you're stuck in the friend zone or waiting for your crush to notice you, the best way to keep nervousness and anxiousness at bay is to talk about your crush with your close friends and family. They can give you advice and support when dealing with the ups and downs of unreciprocated love.
Tip number 4, distract yourself. I'll admit, this might be a little hard to do, but I know this tip is important. You'll be less nervous around that person if you distract yourself with the many other opportunities and people around you. Also, with the many diversions you create for yourself, you can learn about yourself and your future instead of learning more about how to stalk your crush.
Tip number 5, keep calm. Okay, I know what you're thinking. That's the stupidest advice ever. How's that supposed to help me? But this is actually something you have to follow. Take a deep breath, listen to music, work on projects, anything that will help you calm down. If you let yourself relax, you can probably handle situations with your crush much better.
Friends, finding the good ones and recognizing the bad.
I've had some really great friends, but I've also had some very, very bad friends too. There's also some great tips I've learned on the way. So let's get to it.
Tip number 1, if your friend is rude or says something condescending to you, it's best that you drop him or her. I've learned a few key things from my bad friends, this being one of them. Bad friends can be extremely rude and may even try to bring down your self-esteem. Before him, her, they attains the goal of taking you down into depression, leave them. Trust me. You will find a friend who is so much better.
Tip number 2. If you can hold an ongoing conversation that passes the 30-second mark with your friend, then you might have a good friendship ahead. Keyword here, might. How long your conversations last is like a measuring tool for how much or how strong your connection is. If you can get to 30 minutes without any snarky comments or a combustive argument, you two probably have a great connection.
Tip number 3, know your slang. In our fast-moving world, it's fair to say that slang is a huge subject to handle. When I was going to junior high, the verbiage sounded to me like a foreign language. Depending on your region, culture, religion, and location, the slang may be a little different. So my best advice is to look it up. There are plenty of websites filled with a variety of different jargon to learn. If need be, make up some of your own slang and share it.
Tip number 4, be open. It is almost always great to be open to trying new things. For example, if you've never played video games or read a comic book, it is never too late to start. Expanding your horizons can open the doors for great new relationships and friendships.
Tip number 5, say goodbye to bad friends. Let the toxic people in your life go, and don't let them stay. If they try to pressure you into doing something you don't want to do or know you shouldn't, you should let those friends or that friend be off on their own. Remember that there are some great friends out there. You just have to find them.
And most importantly,
take care of yourself.
During this time of your life, you're going to be growing and learning so much about your life and your future.
Appreciate that and make sure that you take into account how you're feeling and thinking.
If you need to step back and take a break, do so.
If you need to pursue a new hobby, go for it.
And even more important, don't be afraid to be different.
I'm gonna take my road, make my road. I'm gonna walk on by all night long. I'm looking for a home,